In this tutorial, I am going to show you how you can create a darkroom effect on your photographs in Photoshop. What I mean by that is like applying some of these sort of half-tone patterns and layering images on top of one another. The developments that we will produce in the darkroom, I'm going to show you how you can mimic some of those aesthetics in Photoshop. So to start with, we're just going to convert the image to black and white using gradient map. Now, what I want you to do, please, is I don't want you to use the adjustment layers for this. I want you to edit the image directly. So that's going to image adjustments, and that edits the image rather than having the adjustment layers. I'm just going to re-level this a little bit, just tweak it. So we've got quite a lot of contrast in the image. So what I'm going to show you now is how to create what's called a half-tone effect, which is the little dots that you see on the pattern. So you go to Filter and Pixelate, and you'll see there's colour half-tone. Now you can see here we've got the radius, which is going to be the size of the circles. It'll make sense in a minute. And then here are all the different channels, which are the different colours. So I'm just going to click OK and show you what happens to the image. So if we zoom in, you can see the image is now made up of these little dots and these sort of coloured circles, which are those individual channels. So if I go back to Pixelate and Colour Halftone again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the radius bigger. So let's move that to 20. Let's click OK. Now, can you see the circles have got bigger? We've still got those colours all at different angles. So just go back a step and go back into Pixelate, click on Colour Halftone again. And this time what we're going to do is I'm going to reduce this to 15 and then reduce the channels to all 45 degrees. Now what this does is it layers the circles on top of one another. So now all you can see is the black circles. Now that is what's called applying the colour halftone. Let's go back. I'm just going to make that smaller. So this effect is as if you are using a digital negative and placing that in the top of the enlarger. You get that sort of same colour halftone effect. So I'm just going to convert this image now to black and white. Just reverse that. Go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can add a grain to the image. So if you go to Filter Gallery, and if you go into the artistic filter at the top, you might need to click on that as a drop down. And if you click on the grain of the film, so the film grain here, you can adjust the amount of grain that you add to the image, whether or not you want to up the highlighted areas, and then obviously the intensity, which is basically the contrast. So if you just tweak that and click OK, you create sort of this, it's like a film grain. And it's similar to that of the quality that you'd get from a contact print in the darkroom. So now if we then drag this and layer this on top of the other image, there you go. And then if you use your blending options, which we've used in the past, you know, you can get some of these beautiful effects like you would if you were in the darkroom, layering up your digital negatives. So click on overlay. So you can get that sort of layered effect. You know, you can experiment with a lot of these. I think I'm going to click on lighten. Yep. You can invert the image as well, so Command and I. And then if you wanted to, using the eraser tool, you can just erase sections of that top image, so some of the image from underneath it comes through. Now this by all means isn't going to replace the darkroom, it's just giving you some ideas of how you can create a similar effect. So have a go.